All right, I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruchak Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. Name of this one is they're putting it right in your face, and pretty much, this is I know brothers been doing videos on that movie Leave the World Behind, and we actually happened to watch that yesterday, and pretty much as I was meditating in it this morning to put it together, that phrase predictive programming came into mind. Now, when you look up the term predictive programming, they're going to tell you it's a conspiracy theory. It's whatever they're going to say, all kind of stuff, conspiracy theories and all kind of other stuff. But pretty much, predictive programming is these so-called elites that control everything. They control, all sources of media, different outlets, and everything of that nature. They're, they put their messages out there, prior to them doing something, to further their agenda. Now here it says why you should worry about predictive programming, right? It says here, predictive programming equals increases the public's acceptance of planned future events. Predictive programming is the practice of government and other higher authorities that use feature films and books to increase public acceptance of planned future events. A popular conspiracy is the idea of using government predictive programming to manipulate citizens and enable them to predict what they want to do in the future. Sometimes the intended purpose of predictive programming is not to plan for some major social change, such as the establishment of totalitarian government, but to control the impact of a particular event. But the main aspect of predictive programming, namely mental preparation or mental programming, has been achieved through movies and TVs that use futuristic devices to manipulate audiences, right? And the reason why they're able to do that is because they have it in the power of their hand to do so. Let's go real quick to the book of Micah. You brothers that have been watching, basic scriptures that we're going to go through, that we've gone through thousands of times. Micah 2:1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right, so they have this ability to manipulate things because they have all of the resources of the world. Now, the scriptures speak about the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And the people that are in control right now of the earth happen to be the Edomites, which are so-called white people, so you can understand. And they have that power. Now, I want to show you something here. First of all, let's go to the word device. You have the word there, chashab, which means to think, plan, esteem, calculate, invent, make a judgment, imagine, count. So it's to calculate, esteem, or to make a plan, right? So it reads once again, woe to them that devise iniquity. And what is iniquity? It's sin on top of sin, compounded, and work evil upon their beds. Why? Because before they go to sleep, they think about these things. While they're sleeping, they dream about it. When they get up in the morning, they're thinking about it. And then eventually, because they have the power to do so, they actually go ahead and put it into action. All right, there was another precept that came to mind. It just kind of escaped. Oh, okay. Let's go real quick. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to work off my other phone too, to kind of expedite the matter. Proverbs, what is that? Proverbs 4. I started 14. Proverbs 4:14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, this is the point, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of violence, for they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Right, and that's what they do. They imagine something and they put it into the work. So they're constantly in different councils, in their own mind with other people with think tanks, trying to figure out what is the best way to get these particular plans off the ground so they can move their agenda to the next stage. But the point here is, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. And this is what we're witnessing right now, that they're putting this plan they're putting their plans, into effect to cause the world to fall. And that's why, let me just get this one real quick, and then I'll speak on a little bit on this movie. Revelation 3 and 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. This is Yahweh Shai speaking to the elect. Because we kept the word of the Lord's patience, Lord's will, we be those men. He said he will also keep us from the hour of temptation, because the hour of temptation will be what? The time of Jacob's trouble. That's going to be the hour of temptation. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And pretty much the word world and the word earth, they are both synonymous one with another. One is oikumene, and the other one is where you get the word geo, or geography, the writings of the earth. And pretty much that's, they have control of this system. They have control of the world. And when they implement their global agenda, it's going to be just that, global. And it's going to hit all facets of life. So people that are operating under the system that you currently know today, with their cell phones, with their, going to work, ATM cards, credit cards, so on and so forth, they're going to have to transition into the new way, which is going to be all digital. So this is going to be a worldwide event. So anyone that operates within this grid for business or whatever the case may be, they're going to have to be forced to follow this path. And that's what the Lord said, woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bed. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it. So let's look up this word, practice it. And the word there is Aisha, which means to do. All right, to make. Right, to do, work, make, produce. All right, so let's go back. It says, then it goes on to say, because it is in the power of their hand. Now the word hand is yad, which represents the hand, the palm of the hand, the fingers, the hand. But it also represents power. And when you look up the word power right here, is the word Allah, which is God. Because they have that God-like power to do these things. See, God-like one, mighty one. And they have that power. This is why the Lord said through the book of James, through the mouth of James, woe unto you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you, because the amount of evil that these devils have done, there's no way that you can actually pay that back. So what you have to do is you have to suffer the consequences by being actually destroyed. But first, before that, you have to go into captivity. And then eventually, after you go into captivity and pay for your iniquities, then you're going to be totally destroyed. There was another, matter of fact, let's go here. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We read about the devices. They devise iniquity and work it upon their bed. Well, here you have the devices of Satan. And matter of fact, another precept came to mind. Let me get that before I forget it. Come on, man. Let me get that before I forget it. Knew that was gonna happen. 2 Corinthians 2:11, devices. I knew that was gonna happen. That's all right. It'll come back if the Spirit wants me to bring it out. So the word for devices is noema. Noema. It says a mental preparation. A mental perception, thought, and evil purpose. And this is what they're doing. They're pushing their evil purpose on the earth, and they're doing it by way of the power that they have, which is being cemented by their legislation. All right. Revelation 13 and 11 is a beautiful precept because it brings it out. All right. It says the beast from the earth. Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, which this other beast coming up out of the earth is America, which is coming in the stead, or as the second coming of the ancient Roman Empire. And he had two horns like a lamb. This is your bipartisan, the bipartisan parties, which is two parties. Bi is two, and partisan is party. Your two-party system, which you have the Republicans and you have the Democrats. In the ancient times in Rome, it was known as the plebeians and the patricians. The plebeians being, like the Democrats today. The patricians being the Republicans, the higher ups, the noble. Because I believe the name Patrick means noble, if I'm not mistaken. So patricians, Patrick, father. So on and so forth. So it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So now how is he speaking as a dragon? By way of the legislation that they're passing to cement this new world. Because they want to set boundaries, and limitations so that anyone that wants to partake in the new world, in the new system, has to fall under the parameters of the New World Order, of the so-called elites. And that's where you get the term dragon from, or dracon, which goes back to an Athenian lawgiver, Draco, which was known for severe punishments of even the least crimes. From the least crime to the worst crimes, you would get the same penalty, because basically it was a draconian society, and in order to keep the peace, in order to keep order, they would be hard on all crimes, no matter how minor or how great the crime was. You receive the same punishment for both. So it says a dragon, a great serpent, a name of Satan, and it's not a name of Satan, but it is a name of Satan as far as Esau being the adversary of the Most High. All right, so let's go back. I wish that other precept would come back, but that's all right. So this is the word for devices in 2 Corinthians 2:11, that we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. It says a mental perception, thought, and evil purpose, that which thinks, the mind, thoughts, or purpose. And that goes hand in hand with, let's go real quick to let's see, damn it. Dragon, nope. Just bear with me 1 second. That which thinks, the mind, thoughts, or purposes. That was another precept that came to mind. It just escaped me. But it'll come back. Oh, Barakateh Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Tawada Tawab. This thing takes a while. And trying to just get it. So like I'm just thinking out loud. All right, so here we got Isaiah 47. And matter of fact, let me get, the world famous world, as far as Israel, the world of Israel is concerned, world famous. I just pulled this up not too long ago. There we go. Okay, yeah. Come on, man. Oh man, I lost the other fucking Satan boy. I had another tab up that I was using for search, but that's all right. That's all right. All right, cool. So we got that. So let's go back to Isaiah 47, and I'll just go straight to the point, and maybe Lord's will jump back to this. Isaiah 47:13. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Right? So they're wearied in the multitude of their counsels. So that's what they do. They have these councils, think tanks, and what those councils and think tanks are set up for is to hammer out policies and find the best suggestions, you know, for to push their plans forward quicker. That's where they're constantly planning. They're constantly, you know, trying different things. You know, they're trying like weaponry and certain type of technology that they have. They're trying ideas as far as financial are concerned, as far as these different digital systems, you know, different ways to, you know, to set it all up, you know, biometrics, everything that they do, they're constantly testing, because they're wearied in the multitude of their counsel. They're pushing forward to get this thing off the ground because they know that they have but a short time. So let's go back to this before I say a few words on that movie. So it says, why should you worry about predictive programming? We'll read that again. It says, predictive programming is the practice of government and other higher authorities that use future films and books to increase public acceptance of planned future events. Now you're going to have the yay sayers, you're going to have the naysayers, but you be the judge of it. At the end of the day, the person reading, you know, the person that, you know, the Israelite man or woman that's out there that are watching videos like this, you know, it's up to the spirit to guide you as to whether this is true or not. And all you have to do is look at the different movies that have been out for ages, you know, going back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, so on and so forth, and look at the world that seemed impossible back then and during those times, and look at the world, the direction that the world is going in today. And it's the same exact thing, from your Judge Dredd to your 1984 to your Handmaid's Tale. Everything is all gearing up in that direction. So if that's the case, then why should it be so hard to believe that predictive programming is so far-fetched? It says a popular conspiracy is the idea of using government predictive programming to manipulate citizens and enable them to predict what they want to do in the future. Yeah, and you have series like Utopia, Dystopia, which the word utopia is a good place. The word dystopia, D-Y-S, is bad, and topia is place. So dystopia is a bad place. And that's where the world is heading to. And the scriptures predicted this, you know, that no man may be able to buy or sell save he that has the M-A-R-K, you know, the charagma, you know, how everything is being cut off, how everything is being manipulated and pushed in that direction, how all these movies that they play out, that they have out there, are all, you know, precursors, for lack of better words, to the world that we see today before us. You know, now the movie Leave the World Behind, you know, for those of you that, you know, that haven't seen it, you might want to turn to another video, because this is going to be like a spoiler alert. So I just want to let you know now before I say it. That way, if you want to watch the movie, you know, before you hear this part, then, you know, I understand. But if not, then, you know, like I said, this is a spoiler alert. Like in that movie, it started off pretty slow. But what they did was they had to where this one family, the Ethan Hawke was the husband, Julia Roberts, she looking old as hell. She looking busted, man. God damn. She used to be a pretty woman, but I don't know what happened. And pretty much they rented a house, to get away, and they got away. And the people they rented the house from happened to be a Jake couple, and the whole system came crashing down. Internet was out, you couldn't call anybody. Cell phones were down, and eventually, as the movie progressed, they pretty much were talking about, cyber attacks, and hackers, that hacked it, and how they pretty much like destroyed that infrastructure. You had one scene, they were trying to leave to go somewhere, to go into town or something like that, and all you seen was a bunch of cars piled up on the highway, but they were all white cars. And then when they were there, they turned around, they saw one of the cars coming, so they had to get out the way. And what it was self-driving Tesla cars, or self-driving cars crashing into one another, one after the other. So the whole grid was compromised, and they were speaking about, whoa, I just recently did a lesson the other day on Stan Johnson. He did an interview with Mike Adams of the Health Ranger, right, on Natural News. And pretty much Stan Johnson was speaking about different visions that people were having of, pocket NUKESs going off in different cities in America, in some of the major cities. And in this movie, there was one point where you heard bombs going off, and you see the mushroom cloud, and everything was crazy, right? And pretty much the dude, the Jake that was the man of the house, they ended up coming back to the house, right? Because they had nowhere to go because there was a blackout, because everything now is online. So when they had the blackout, when they hit certain things, cyber, whatever they call it, cyber attacks, everything gets knocked out because everything is on the same grid. So when they got there, he told Ethan Hawke, look, y'all could do whatever you got to do, whatever. He said, what am I going to do? He said, my whole life is in that phone. Everything, people today cannot function without their phone, So this is the predictive programming, that is coming down the line. And it's no coincidence that right now you got these so-called migrants, which are not the Jake ones. You're talking about the other nations coming in here, that are of military age, right? They're coming through the border, and some of them are from China, so on and so forth. And there was recently something, a news article somewhere, as something along the lines of China is planning some type of cyber attack or something along those lines. So like I don't have the greatest memory in the world, but it's something like that a brother had just recently sent me, or I ran across. So all of these things, how is it that everything that you see going on today is such a coincidence that prior to it happening, there was a movie, or there was some kind of comedy skit or anything, a song or something came out before these things started happening. And right after that song comes out, all of these things start happening just as the song or as the movie or as a comedy skit or whatever the case, so-called predicted. And that's why it's called predictive programming, getting the minds of the people ready for what's coming. That's why it says that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, right? It says, let's see where we're at. Right, it says, but the main aspect of predictive programming, namely mental preparation or mental programming, has been achieved through movies and TV shows that use futuristic devices to manipulate audiences. All you got to do is watch Demolition Man, and movies like that, and you see that those things are actually happening today. Everything is being moved in that direction. So why is it so hard to believe that these devils can use these different movies, to manipulate people's minds or to get them ready and prepared for what's coming? You have movies like Contagion, Outbreak, and all those, predicting these, pandemics and all of that, So it says, understanding consumer behavior, manipulating consumer behavior. For example, predictive analysis can be used to understand possible consumer behavior, optimize internal processes, monitor and automate IT infrastructure, and maintain machinery. You know, so pretty much, you know, you could read the rest of this if you want. You got to create an account to read the full story, but you get the idea. You know, you get the idea. This is on medium.com. Medium.com, why you should worry about predictive programming. All right, and it's pretty much, it's just a way of the so-called elites to, you know, to get the minds of the people prepared and ready for what's coming, because they're bringing it, you know, whether people accept it, believe it or not. You could call somebody a conspiracy theorist all you want, but when you see these things actually happening, is it a conspiracy theory or a conspiracy fact? And in most cases, you're finding out that it's all a conspiracy fact. And all these things are coming to pass just like the scriptures predicted it. Here in Psalm 64, King David said, Psalm 64:1, it says, "Hear my voice, O Most High, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy." And that's the only power we really have right now, is the power of prayer. You know, and that's why it's so important to pray, you know, fast, whatever you have to do, beg, which are supplications, because the times that are coming are going to be hard times. That's why it says that the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. So the only way to be protected, you know, and to have a fighting chance in this pretty much onslaught of the Israelites, because it said that they shall be as madmen sparing none, is the prayers to Yahweh Bashem El Shai, but in the right proper names, which is Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And if you notice, you know, the name of the Most High, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, have been under attack from individuals that used to be a part of One West in the past. All right. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity," because the insurrection is what? A cutting in. Let me see what we got. I'm gonna try to pull up, I think, Bible Gateway. Is this it right here? Yeah. I believe they have the Apocrypha. See if I could pull that up. And you know what? Try it this way. Just bear with me 1 second, you know. All right, let me go back one. All right. Okay. All right, so it's not showing up. I was trying to get the version, but for some reason it's not letting me. Hey, you know what? The hell with it. I'll just read it off my phone to save time. This is getting ridiculous. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 68, and these are the times we're coming into. You know, we got all these guys talking all this bullshit and all this shit about the MOTB is not the micro C hip. Time of Jacob's trouble is not coming. Then they start seeing things happening with bringing Jacob's trouble in, and then they're starting to do the backslide. You know, to try to save face. Bunch of fucking hypocrites, man. Bunch of fucking hypocrites, man. That shit just fucking pisses you off, man. You know, but we know that it's got to be that way, cause you got motherfuckers out there that have no fucking integrity. Not an ounce of character or integrity. 2nd Ezra 16 and 68. "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols." What you think that's talking about? That's talking about these concentration camps / detention centers where they're going to be holding people at, whether they're actual facilities that were created for that, or whether they're buildings that are going to be set up as a form of bringing people there and getting them on a roster or whatever the case may be, and from there shipping them out. Remember, you have Executive Order 1100, I believe it is, that can have all people, by the government be sent to these different detention centers, for work, to work. Let's see, manpower management. See, that's Executive Order 11,000. Yeah, see, I like the one where this is. It's pretty much the ability to gather people and send them forth as work brigades, and send them off to wherever they need to go. Now, in the movie Handmaid's Tale, they had a processing center. That's what I was looking for, a processing center where they would bring the people there by truck and ship them out by truck. And when they would do that, the women, what they were looking for was women that were of the age and ability of having children, so that they can bring forth more monsters by these so-called elites. And the women that were fertile, the women that were fertile were used for that, and the women that couldn't have children, they would send them out to work brigades. All right? And this is what they have. They have the ability through executive order to gather people and set them up for work brigades. The movie 1984. The dude, the fat chubby dude, I forgot his name, and he said, no, take Winston, or whatever his name was, he said, there's nothing I would not do. I can work, so pretty much just showing you that they had work brigades going on back then too, in these two movies, which is what they plan on doing in the future, right? It says, matter of fact, let me go back to, 2nd Ezra 16. Man, this thing is being fresh like a mother. All right, 16 and 69. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. Yeah, because the ones of you Israelites that help, you never learned your lesson in history. When Gad, you had those scouts of Gad that were helping, Esau take down Gad. Once they took Gad and put Gad on the reservation camps, what do you think they did to those scouts? They don't need them no more. They put their ass on those same, reservations that they helped put their brothers and sisters on. They show you that in the movie Geronimo. And then the scout turned to Geronimo and said, you were right to hate the white man. No shit, Sherlock. This is what we've been trying to tell you. This is what we've been fighting for, but you were helping these devils. It says, who wet their tongue. I'm sorry, damn it. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Right, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And that's what's coming. And this is why this whole infrastructure is being set up. Right? So going back to Psalm 64 and 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And how do we hide? We hide by the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and by this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that is going to be the stability of our times and strength of salvation. This is where it's at right here. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword. The word wet is W-H-T, which means to sharpen. And how are they sharpening their tongue? By these different legislations that they're passing to cement their new agenda in place. This is why Maya Amshel-Bar said, give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws, because you control the money, you control the laws. Those different politicians and different senators and people in the governing body that are responsible for hammering out laws and, and sub-laws, so on and so forth, the majority of them are controlled by the international bankers. And the ones that don't play the game, they get rubbed out or they get scandalized. This is why Esau, when you work for these devils, when you get involved in any field with him, they make you do dirt. so that they can have that on you, so that in case you turn cold, you try to act fly, and you try to grow a conscience, they'll use that against you and destroy you, or they'll kill you and make it look like an accident. They'll delete you. All right. This is why they do that. This is why the movie, what movie was that? The Good Shepherd. When you had Matt Damon and them, they've shown you how it goes down in the Bohemian Grove, how they have you sleep in a casket, I believe it's butt naked, and tell your innermost secrets, so that they can have a laundry list against you of things that you did, so they can eventually bring it out later in case you turn cold. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. See, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. And that's what they're doing. That's what these traps are all about. These traps that are set up out here are traps through legislation and through the different functions of Esau, to set in place this new future world. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter, because it is an evil matter that they're pushing, but this is what the Lord got them doing. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Because they don't think the Most High sees them. And they're setting all this stuff, all of these different traps in plain sight. But most jakes are not savvy enough to see it. And the ones that do certain jakes out there that do see it, because you do have Israelites out there that are hip to what's going on. But the thing is that they don't know that they're Israelites. They haven't considered that. So their thing is to plan, to be preppers, to get ready for this thing. They're not looking to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and this truth as a cover from this storm that's coming upon them. Salaki for 1 minute. All right. It says they search out iniquities. And how do they search out iniquities? By putting these things into play. They accomplish a diligent search because they don't leave anything unturned. They don't leave any stone unturned. You better believe that when Esau rolls out a plan, they done covered every aspect possible. They done went through everything that they could think of, to check and double check and triple check and quadruple check and 100 times check before they actually put it into effect. But the only thing that they never checked on, which is the biggest thing, is the Most High. They forgot about the Most High. It says both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Yeah, because when you speak to these individuals, they make it seem like they're for your cause, for your benefit. That's why it says never trust thy enemy, because as a iron rusted, so is his wickedness. They've never upheld any treaty that they've ever, signed with anyone. Gad, any nation, anyone that made plans with these devils never got a just, fair handshake. They never got their just, fair due. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded, because that same technology that they have to protect themselves, to puff at nations with, is the same technology that the Lord is going to use to bring them down, which is the technology of the so-called nuclear missiles and the lasers from the chariot. But the main thing is the nuclear missiles, because that is the arrow that the Lord is going to use to destroy them. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. See? And you have some from within that come out and expose them. And some of them individuals that expose them, they either bring out a scandal on them, they either, deem as insane, lock them up in an insane asylum, like they did Ezra Pound, or they delete them and make it seem like a suicide or an accident, a heart attack, or they took pills, or they hung themselves, or they were in a particular plane and that plane happened to crash into the ocean, or whatever the case may be. Oh, the whole thing about the Titanic, all of these different rich banking families, that didn't want to play along. Everybody got on that ship. The Rothschild, Rockefeller, all of them were on that ship. But what happened was at the last minute, the top elite bankers got off that ship. And the ones that opposed them, that were top banking families, that were in the way, they left on there and they sunk them out there because they wouldn't play ball. That's how devious these devils are, man. And it should not be a surprise here in 2023, almost 2024, that these devils are that devilish. It says, so that they shall make their tongue fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away. Right, because some people that see what's going on, they get the hell away from them international bankers. Right? And you know, we happen to be some of them, but even within their ranks, some of them actually see what's going on and they move out. Matter of fact, a good example of that is John Todd. He said when they was first doing this, you know, with the witchcraft and all that, they were just doing it, you know, yeah, we get free money, we get, you know, drugs and all this. But then when he started to open up letters and realize that what they were doing was actually going to really happen, you know, according to him, you know, he left that and became a so-called Christian. And he was way up there. He was on the Council of 13. He was one of the 13 top witches on the planet at the time. It says, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. Right, because they're going to see what these devils are really doing. And for most people, it's going to be too late. But at the very end of this thing, the Lord is going to take these devils out. It says, the righteous shall be glad in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. You know, and those of you that have not seen that movie, Leave the World Behind, I suggest you go and watch it. You know, it's a little slow at the beginning. There's a lot of different twists and turns. I mean, I personally didn't like the way that it ended with the little girl at the end. You know, she was dying the whole movie to see the last episode of Friends, the last one or something like that. And she finally found the bunker, and she actually was sitting there watching that last episode, and it just ended. And I was going back and forth on the WhatsApp with the Elder Karatas out there in Vegas, and he said what he got out of it was, you know who your friends are. And I was like, wow, that was pretty heavy, because it just kind of seemed like it ended abruptly, you know. So you get a chance, you know, you should watch it. It's a pretty good movie. A lot of different subliminals, and they're just getting the people ready for what's coming. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.